New Strzok-Page emails reveal DOJ special treatment of Clinton lawyers. It was so bad, the Obama administration investigation of Hillary Clinton, that Page and Strzok were outraged. This is what the emails show. They show that DOJ and the FBI were giving special treatment to the Clinton lawyers. We have documents showing that previously, but here the Page and Strzok are actually complaining about it. These are the records that are being slow-rolled by Christopher Wray's FBI at the rate of 500 pages a month. They're only reviewing 500 pages a month, but we only, for instance, this month we received 211 pages of the 500 they allegedly reviewed. There are 13,000 plus documents to review. At this rate, it will be well into 2021 before we get all the records. Unbelievable. The president should authorize their release immediately. All of them. In an email of April 25th, 2016, Strzok indicated that Beth Wilkinson, who was a lawyer for the Clinton aides who gathered and destroyed Hillary Clinton's emails, Cheryl Mills, Heather Samuelson, so that Wilkinson and David Kendall, who was Hillary Clinton's personal lawyer, were set to meet the following day with the FBI and DOJ in the counter-espionage section of the FBI. Strzok writes, "If you have strong objection, I do not, other than finding out about it after the deputy director, we should raise it now. It's weird that the deputy director, Andrew McCabe, who, by the way, had taken money, or his wife had, from the Clinton pal, Terry McAuliffe, to try to win an election just a few months before. It's weird that he's the first to know. When did that become the norm?" Strzok replies, "Since the butt hurt, I think there's some passive-aggressive stuff going on, whatever." Actually, that's one of his colleagues that replied, "It's weird. When did that become the norm?" They all knew something was up. It's unusual for lawyers, for people under putative criminal investigation, to get meetings with the deputy director or be involved with the deputy director of the FBI. On May 11, 2016, Strzok submitted a Wilkinson negotiation timeline. Remember, Beth Wilkinson had access to these laptops of Strzok of Mills and Samuelson. Remember the laptops that the FBI promised to destroy after they looked at? Again, more special favors for the Clinton gang. In the email, Strzok lays out specific negotiations, unspecified negotiations that had taken place between the FBI and DOJ and Wilkinson. Strzok noted that we will have spent 34 days waiting for opposing counsel, Hillary gang lawyer, to make the initial step of any tangible offer, about which we have no idea if it will be anywhere close to what we have been specific about. So they're getting slow-rolled by a lawyer for two lawyers who destroyed emails that the FBI needed and Justice Department wanted, State Congress wanted, responsive to court orders. Now compare and contrast how they handled that. Basically, they caved to everything Wilkinson wanted. And what they did with Paul Manafort and Roger Stone, where they raided their homes because they thought there was something weird going on with the slow rolling of information or withholding information. Remember, at this time, the Justice Department, according to the IG report, was breaking every law under the sun. I guess the IG report didn't say that, but it basically did, if you interpret it right. They were breaking every law under the sun to harass and spy on President Trump while bending over backwards in the face of rather evident obstruction of justice by Hillary Clinton and her minions. What else is here? April 13th, 2016. Strzok emailed Priestap, who was the top official, senior FBI agent running this operation, and expressed concern about the content of the Baker-Wilkinson contact. Who's Baker? Baker is the top lawyer of the FBI who's talking to Hillary Clinton's aide's lawyer, Beth Wilkinson. We've talked about that before. James Baker was general counsel. Strzok told Priestap, to the extent you can ask what Jim's contact was and ask that the investigative team be kept abreast of contact with our DOJ counterparts, I would greatly appreciate it. Strzok forwarded the note to Page. You still think I don't have reason to be angry? So Strzok and Page are angry about these secret meetings the general counsel for the FBI is having with Beth Wilkinson. I got to hand it to Beth Wilkinson. She was a good lawyer for her clients, huh? Getting those meetings with top levels of the FBI, getting the attention of the number 2 of the FBI. March 28, 2016 email from Page to Strzok with the subject line, God, I'm frustrated. Page appears to refer back to a large FBI DOJ meeting at which Beth Wilkinson asserted a privilege over the Clinton lawyers sorting and deleting Clinton emails. Even Page pushes back on this, says, I'm sorry, it's not obvious to me that this is a sort of opinion work product that should have been conducted by the State Department records managers, and you wouldn't even be in this position to talk about the privilege. What is that? This is so important. Hillary Clinton had zero right under law to take those emails that were State Department property. Yes, State Department property. They weren't personal in the legal sense. And review them and then tell the State Department what she would turn over. The law should have been the State Department should have gone and gotten all the emails and then reviewed them, and if there were personal emails that would not be releasable to the public, they would not be released to the public. That would be the end of it. Instead, the lawyers took it upon themselves to review and delete half of the emails. And then they're asserting a privilege over that misconduct. Page ends the email saying, I am irritated. It's all in caps. And Strzok responds saying, I'm irritated too. This is interesting. So during this time period, Judicial Watch is conducting discovery. We're talking to Cheryl Mills. We're talking to Yuma Abedin. We're talking to State Department officials, putting them under oath. And every time it seemed we were getting a decision that we would get to talk to witnesses, the FBI would leak out, say, oh, well, we're talking to witnesses too, because they were embarrassed because evidently the investigation was going nowhere. Well, now we know it was going nowhere because it was wired. So Strzok is emailing quotes by me, yours truly, in the New York Times about Judicial Watch's litigation where we're deposing witnesses, and Strzok's getting defensive, saying, oh, well, we already talked to this guy. I mean, he had a minor role. We talked to his supervisors. Well, we were talking to his supervisors too. But it also shows you the importance of why you need independent groups doing these investigations. Because, as I've been long saying, I'm convinced there would have been no even pro forma FBI investigation of this but for Judicial Watch being granted discovery, because they didn't want these witnesses to come in and say, oh, I didn't talk to the FBI. The only reason, or a large part of the reason the FBI was doing anything about Hillary Clinton was A, because we exposed the corruption and cover-up to begin with, and B, a federal court judge, in that case Judge Sullivan, we have new Judge Lamberth granting us additional discovery, had granted us discovery to uncover what went on. So the FBI was following our lead, or at least had to start interviewing the witnesses. Right now, the judge is considering whether we get to question Hillary Clinton in person and under oath. And we're being opposed by the Justice Department, the State Department, and of course, Hillary Clinton's lawyers. I want to emphasize that. The Justice Department is opposing Hillary Clinton having to answer questions under oath about her emails, and yes, this case is also about Benghazi. You think Benghazi is yesterday's news? Of course you don't. If you're following Judicial Watch, you think it's an important issue. And you can see with the Iran situation and the attack on our embassy there, Benghazi is very much in the news. The Justice Department's protecting Hillary on it right now. And I have to say, I know I'm president of Judicial Watch, so it may not surprise you that I love Judicial Watch. But as a citizen, as being objective as possible, I love Judicial Watch. I think the work we do, the work Judicial Watch does, again, as president, of course I'm going to say this, but as a citizen, I mean it sincerely. It's some of the most important work being done in Washington, D.C. today in terms of holding the government to account.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.